Have you noticed the paradox of our time? We are living in the most technologically advanced era in human history. We've mapped the human genome, split the atom, landed robots on Mars, and can stream a symphony from Vienna to a smartphone in Nairobi in less than a second. And yet, with all this progress, anxiety is rising, loneliness is epidemic, and more people than ever feel lost, restless, even on the edge of sanity. How is it that a species capable of launching telescopes that can see the birth of galaxies struggles to look inward and find meaning in its own existence? How can a civilization that connects billions online still leave so many people feeling profoundly disconnected? Some call this a breakdown, but maybe, just maybe, it's a breakthrough. What feels like madness may actually be an awakening. Now, I'm a scientist. I don't traffic in mystical promises, but I do know this. Throughout history, every great leap of understanding, from Galileo's telescope to Darwin's theory, from Einstein's relativity to the discovery of DNA, began with confusion, with disorientation, with a sense that the old explanations no longer made sense. Before the light of understanding comes the storm of doubt. So perhaps when you feel unmoored, overwhelmed, even crazy, it's not pathology, it's evolution. Not of the species this time, but of the self. And there are signs, subtle, sometimes unnerving, sometimes beautiful, that you are not losing your mind. You are expanding it. The first sign is this. Suddenly, the ordinary doesn't feel so ordinary anymore. A tree is no longer just a tree. A sunset is no longer just the scattering of light through the atmosphere. You notice the patterns of veins in a leaf, the fractal repetition of branches, the rhythm of waves against a shore. In physics, we call this emergence, when simple rules give rise to complex beauty. Ants follow basic instructions, yet build colonies that mimic the neural networks of a brain. Molecules follow laws of chemistry, yet give rise to consciousness itself. So when your awareness sharpens and you see wonder where others see routine, you are not hallucinating. You are perceiving emergence, the universe expressing its genius in the everyday. The second sign is emotional intensity. You feel more deeply than before. Joy can send you soaring, sorrow can feel bottomless. Some might say you're too sensitive, unstable even, but let me remind you, sensitivity is not weakness. It's resolution. A telescope that can detect the faintest galaxies also picks up the faintest noise. The challenge is not to dull the instrument, but to learn how to interpret its data. So if your emotions feel overwhelming, it may not be that you're broken, it may be that your soul upgraded its sensors. The third sign is that you start asking uncomfortable questions. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Is there meaning beyond survival, beyond money, beyond the routines we've inherited? These questions can feel destabilizing, especially in a culture that rewards productivity more than reflection. But here's the thing. Asking why is what made us human in the first place. Chimpanzees use tools. Dolphins communicate. But as far as we know, humans alone ask why the stars shine, why we exist, why anything exists at all. When those questions haunt you, it's not madness, it's humanity at full throttle. Then there are moments, the fourth sign, of sudden clarity. Flashes of insight when everything makes sense for a split second. Neuroscientists call this the aha moment, when the brain's default networks synchronize, producing a new connection. It's the same circuitry that lights up in the mind of a scientist on the brink of discovery. Archimedes had his Eureka in a bathtub. Einstein dreamed of riding on a beam of light. And maybe you, sitting quietly, feel the same electricity of truth illuminating the fog of confusion. These aren't delusions. They are breakthroughs, neural lightning strikes that show you glimpses of a wider horizon. The fifth sign is empathy. You find yourself crying at movies you once shrugged off, feeling the pain of strangers, aching at the sight of suffering that once barely registered. Some will tell you you're too soft. But remember, empathy is not fragility. It is connection. In astrophysics, we study the gravitational web that binds galaxies together across billions of light years. Without that invisible thread, the universe would fly apart. Empathy is the gravitational web of humanity. Without it, society disintegrates. So, when your heart expands, don't apologize. Recognize it as the universe strengthening its bonds through you. Another sign, you long for peace. Not in the sense of avoiding conflict, but in the sense of craving stillness in a noisy world. Meditation, quiet walks, even silence itself become precious. And again, some will mock this, call it laziness, escapism, but in science, we know that equilibrium is not the absence of activity. It's balance. The solar system is a ballet of chaos, planets tugging on each other, asteroids scattering, yet overall, it holds together in harmony. Your search for peace is not retreat. It's an instinct for cosmic balance within yourself. The seventh sign is the loosening grip of ego. That voice in your head that constantly says, I, me, mine, starts to sound less convincing. You realize you are not the center of the universe, but part of something vastly larger. This can be humbling, even frightening, as the small self resists dissolution. But consider this, every atom in your body has been through at least one star. You are literally made of the universe. So when your ego shrinks and your cosmic self expands, that's not a loss of identity, that's an upgrade. Then comes intuition, sharpened like a compass that always points north. Even when logic is silent, you just know things, sense patterns, trust instincts. This is not superstition. It's the ancient intelligence of the brain, trained over millennia, absorbing more data than your conscious mind can track. In science, we call this heuristic processing. Pilots trust it. Surgeons trust it. Maybe you should too. Synchronicities multiply. Coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. Psychology explains them as pattern recognition. Physics offers metaphors of entanglement particles once linked acting in harmony even when light years apart. Whatever the mechanism, the effect is the same. You feel guided, connected, part of a pattern larger than chance. You may feel drawn to nature as if the forests, oceans, and skies are not backdrops, but companions. This is not regression, it's recognition. For 99% of human history, we lived close to the land. Only recently did we wall ourselves off with concrete and glass. Your longing for nature is not nostalgia. It's a recalibration to your evolutionary home. And finally, there is the hunger for knowledge. You read voraciously, seek teachers, devour ideas. This too can feel obsessive. But curiosity is the engine of every leap humanity has ever made. To thirst for knowledge is to align yourself with the deepest impulse of the universe itself to evolve, to expand, to awaken. So no, you are not crazy. You are waking up. And the greatest danger is not losing your mind. It is falling back asleep. Because awakening is not just for you. It is for all of us. Each person who sharpens awareness, deepens empathy, loosens ego, strengthens peace, adds to the collective capacity of humanity to survive, to thrive, to become not just a species that builds tools, but a civilization that deserves its place among the stars. So if you feel disoriented, take heart. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place, your place in the great unfolding cosmos. And when you embrace that, you don't just awaken yourself. You awaken the universe, awakening to itself through you. Think of the first time you looked up at the night sky and realized those weren't just lights hung for decoration, but stars, each one a sun, many with planets, some of which may hold beings looking back at us wondering the same thing. That shift in perception is small on the surface, but vast in implication. Awakening works the same way. It starts with perception, the ordinary becoming extraordinary. That tree, that wave, that sunset. Physics tells us color itself doesn't exist out there. The universe is made of electromagnetic waves, each with different frequencies. Color happens in your brain. It's interpretation, not property. So when the world suddenly appears more vivid, more alive, it's not that reality changed, it's that you did. Your brain stopped filtering and started attending. This heightened awareness is the first sign. And it's not madness, it's evolution. If a telescope gets an upgrade, We don't accuse it of malfunctioning because it now sees galaxies where before it saw black. We celebrate it. Why not treat your perception the same way? The second sign is emotional intensity, the roller coaster of highs and lows. Society tells you to flatten it, medicate it, suppress it. But let's think cosmically. When stars form, gravity pulls matter inward until nuclear fusion ignites. The process is violent, unstable, full of collapse and explosion, and yet, out of that chaos comes light. Emotional turbulence is your inner fusion chamber. Pressure builds, old identities collapse, and then illumination. To feel deeply is not pathology. It is the cost of becoming luminous. Then comes the questioning of meaning. The third sign. For centuries, humanity believed Earth was the center of everything. Then we discovered the sun is the center. Then that our sun is one of 100 billion in our galaxy. Then that our galaxy is one of 2 trillion in the observable universe. Each discovery made us smaller, and yet, paradoxically, grander. Because meaning is not about size. A microbe is smaller than a whale, but no less alive. When you ask, what is the meaning of my life? You're echoing the same question scientists ask of the cosmos. Why is there something rather than nothing? To question is not to unravel. It is to participate in the oldest human tradition, wonder. The fourth sign. Sudden flashes of clarity. You're washing dishes, walking the dog, half asleep, and then lightning. A truth that feels older than time itself erupts in your mind. Scientists know this moment well. Kekulé dreamed of a snake biting its tail and woke with the structure of the benzene ring in his mind. Einstein imagined chasing a beam of light and conceived relativity. Insight doesn't arrive when you're forcing it. It arrives when your mind is open enough to let the universe slip in. So if clarity strikes you unexpectedly, don't dismiss it as fantasy. You've just tuned into the same frequency that fuels discovery itself. Empathy follows the fifth sign. Suddenly, you feel others' pain, even strangers. You might even cry at things you once ignored. In a world that glorifies detachment, empathy feels like a liability. But let's step back. In cosmology, we've learned that galaxies are not isolated. They're connected by filaments of dark matter, an invisible web binding the universe into structure. Without it, galaxies would drift apart into chaos. Empathy is humanity's dark matter. You don't see it, but it binds us. Without it, civilization disintegrates. So when your heart breaks more easily, you're not falling apart. You're becoming part of the glue that keeps humanity from flying into entropy. The sixth sign is the longing for peace. In physics, systems tend toward equilibrium. But equilibrium isn't boring. It's balance. When hydrogen fuses into helium inside stars, the outward pressure balances gravity's inward pull. Without balance, stars collapse or explode. With it, they shine steadily for billions of years. So when you crave stillness, silence, tranquility, it's not escapism. It's your inner star seeking balance so you can shine without burning out. Then the ego loosens. The seventh sign, it's unsettling, realizing you're not the center of the story. But humility is not erasure, it's liberation. Every atom in your body was forged in stars that died before Earth existed. You are literally the universe aware of itself. Why cling to a tiny ego when your true identity is cosmic? It's not that you disappear, it's that you expand. Intuition sharpens the eighth sign. You feel guided by something deeper than logic, and science backs this up. The conscious brain processes about 40 bits of information per second. The subconscious, 11 million. Intuition is your deeper data processor, surfacing conclusions before your conscious mind catches up. Pilots trust it, surgeons trust it, scientists trust it. Why not you? Synchronicities multiply the ninth sign. Skeptics dismiss them as pattern-seeking, confirmation bias. And yes, the brain is wired to find patterns, but that's the point. Pattern recognition is how we discovered seasons, navigated oceans, tracked stars. When coincidences cluster, maybe it's not the universe conspiring. Maybe it's you learning to see the web you've always been woven into. The 10th sign, you're drawn to nature, not just as scenery, but as kin. You feel trees are not background, but relatives. Science agrees. You share about 25% of your DNA with trees, 60% with fruit flies, 98.8% with chimpanzees. You are not separate from life. You are life in one of its many costumes. So when the forest feels like home, it's not regression, it's remembrance. And the 11th sign, the hunger for knowledge. Awakening doesn't close you off. It opens you wider. Books, lectures, teachers, conversations, you crave it. Not for trivia, but for integration. You want to see how everything fits, and that hunger aligns you with the very impulse of the universe itself, to evolve. Stars evolve, galaxies evolve, life evolves. Why not consciousness? So no, you are not crazy. You are tuning into the same principles that govern stars, atoms, galaxies, and evolution itself. And the ultimate question is not whether you are awakening, it's what you will do with that awakening. Because stars don't shine for themselves. They shine for everything orbiting them. The real sign you're awakening is not perception, emotion, empathy, or synchronicity. It's responsibility. Responsibility to live awake in a world that keeps falling asleep. Responsibility to expand compassion in a civilization fracturing into isolation. Responsibility to use your light, not just to illuminate yourself, but to guide others. When you awaken, you begin to realize that every sign, every shift in perception, every emotional surge, every flash of intuition is not random. It is part of the same pattern written across the cosmos. Consider the first sign again, heightened awareness. You begin to notice the extraordinary within the ordinary. Think about what happened when Galileo turned his telescope skyward. To the naked eye, Jupiter was just a point of light. But under magnification, moons appeared, entire worlds orbiting a planet no one had ever truly seen. The ordinary dot of light became extraordinary, and with it, our place in the universe shifted forever. Your awakening works the same way. Life once looked flat, familiar. But suddenly, you perceive moons around Jupiter, galaxies in what used to be darkness. It's not hallucination. It's Galileo's telescope turned inward. Then comes the storm of emotions. People say, calm down, you're too much. But let's revisit the universe itself. Stars are born in violence. Giant clouds of hydrogen collapse, pressure builds, chaos reigns until ignition. A star begins to shine. Without that storm, there is no light. So when you feel overwhelmed, it is not weakness, it is ignition. The chaos within you is forging the elements of a new consciousness, just as chaos in the cosmos forged the elements of life itself. And questioning meaning, that's not madness, that is science. Every scientific revolution was birthed from a refusal to accept the old answers. Why should the Earth be the center of everything? Copernicus asked. Why does an apple fall but the moon does not? Newton asked. Why does the speed of light remain constant for all observers? Einstein asked. Each question shattered the sanity of the old world until it birthed a new one. When you question life, you are not breaking down. You are joining the lineage of those who redefined what reality island, clarity strikes, insight arrives unannounced. Let me tell you a story. Henri Poincaré, a French mathematician, struggled with a complex problem for days. He abandoned it, boarded a bus, and as he stepped on, the solution appeared in full in his mind. He hadn't been working on it consciously, but somewhere deeper, his mind was still processing. Awakening works like this. You stop forcing. The answer emerges. The universe doesn't whisper in equations, it whispers in aha. Moments when suddenly the fog lifts and you see further than you thought possible. And empathy? That is the most underrated form of intelligence we have. If you place two pendulum clocks on the same wall, eventually they synchronize, swinging together. This is not sentiment, it is physics. Systems seek resonance. Your empathy is not fragility, it is resonance. You are the pendulum clock finding rhythm with others. And in that synchronization lies the foundation of civilization. Peace becomes precious. Stillness becomes sacred. Let me remind you, silence is not emptiness. Silence is the canvas on which music exists. Without silence, there is only noise. Without stillness, there is only chaos. When you crave peace, you are craving the cosmic silence that allowed the first atoms to form. In the first microseconds of the universe, chaos reigned. But then, as things cooled, equilibrium emerged. Atoms bonded. Stars formed. Life became possible. Without peace, there is no creation. So honor your search for stillness. It is not laziness, it is preparation for ignition. Ego loosens. You stop believing you are the sole author of existence. Humility is often misunderstood. Some think it is diminishing yourself, but humility is context. The earth is small, but it is not insignificant. It is the only known home of life in the universe. To see Earth as small doesn't erase its importance. It defines it. When your ego loosens, you become Earth small in the cosmos, but precious in context. Intuition sharpens. And what is intuition, really? It is your subconscious mind absorbing billions of data points, weaving them into a direction before your conscious mind can explain it. Birds migrate without maps. Salmon return to rivers they've never seen. Life carries guidance beyond logic. Humans call it intuition. To dismiss it is to dismiss your deepest evolutionary wisdom. Synchronicities multiply. The skeptic says, coincidence. But coincidence is only a name we give to patterns we don't yet understand. Lightning was once coincidence. Seasons were once coincidence. Germs were once coincidence. Until we saw the patterns. Maybe your synchronicities are not superstition. Maybe they are Galileo's moons, waiting for you to notice the orbits. Nature calls to you. And how could it not? You are nature. 60% of your DNA is shared with bananas, 80% with cows, 8% with chimpanzees. When you feel kinship with the forest, it is not delusion, it is reunion. To walk barefoot on the earth is not regression. It is remembering that for 99% of human history, this was home. You are not returning to nature. You are returning to yourself and knowledge the hunger that won't let you rest. That too is cosmic. The universe itself evolves. Hydrogen became helium, helium became carbon, carbon became life, life became awareness, awareness became curiosity, curiosity became science. So when you hunger for knowledge, you are not obsessive. You are aligned with the same trajectory that turned stardust into you. You are the cosmos continuing its journey of self-discovery. Now, pause. Look at the thread. Awareness, emotion, questioning, clarity, empathy, peace, humility, intuition, synchronicity, nature, knowledge. Each sign feels personal, but each has a cosmic mirror. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are experiencing the universe remembering itself through you. Here's the paradox that remains. Humanity is advancing technologically faster than ever, yet spiritually, we risk falling asleep. We build rockets, but forget empathy. We split atoms, but cannot hold peace. We map genomes, but still cling to ego. Awakening is not an escape from the world. It is the only way forward. Because without awakening, without awareness, empathy, humility, our technology will outpace our wisdom, and the species will collapse under the weight of its own genius. The real sign of awakening, then, is not the butterflies of synchronicity, or the rush of emotion, or even the flashes of clarity. The real sign is responsibility. Responsibility to act awake in a world addicted to sleep. Responsibility to live connected in a world tearing apart. Responsibility to shine like a star, not for yourself, but for the planets that orbit you, the lives that depend on your gravity. So if you've wondered whether you're crazy, let me be clear. You are not. You are awakening. And awakening is the most sane, the most human, the most cosmic act of all. Because to awaken is to finally see what was always true. That you are the cosmos, aware of itself. That you are stardust, capable of compassion. That you are matter, dreaming of meaning. That you are not small and not separate, but essential to the unfolding story of the universe. And when you embrace that truth, you don't just awaken yourself, you awaken the universe. through you. Have you noticed the paradox of our time? We live in the most technologically advanced era in human history. We've mapped the human genome, split the atom, landed robots on Mars, and can stream a symphony from Vienna to a smartphone in Nairobi in less than a second. And yet, anxiety is rising. Loneliness is epidemic. More people than ever feel lost, restless, teetering on the edge of their own minds. How is it that a species capable of launching telescopes that witness the birth of galaxies struggles to look inward and find meaning in its own existence? How is it that a civilization that connects billions online still leaves so many feeling profoundly disconnected? Some call this a breakdown. But maybe, just maybe, it's a breakthrough. What feels like chaos may actually be an awakening. Now, I'm a scientist. I don't traffic in mystical promises. But I do know this. Throughout history, every great leap of understanding, from Galileo's telescope to Darwin's theory of evolution, from Einstein's relativity to the discovery of DNA, began with confusion, with disorientation, with a sense that the old explanations no longer made sense. Before the light of understanding, there is always a storm of doubt. So perhaps when you feel unmoored, overwhelmed, even crazy, it is not pathology, it is evolution. Not of the species this time, but of the self. And there are signs, subtle, sometimes unnerving, sometimes beautiful, that you are not losing your mind. You are expanding it. Sign 1. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. A tree is no longer just a tree. A sunset is no longer just scattered light in the atmosphere. You notice the intricate patterns of veins in a leaf, the fractal repetition of branches, the rhythm of waves on the shore. In physics, we call this emergence, when simple rules give rise to complex beauty. Ants follow basic instructions, yet build colonies that mimic the neural networks of a brain. Molecules follow laws of chemistry, yet give rise to consciousness itself. When your awareness sharpens and you see wonder where others see routine, you are not hallucinating. You are witnessing emergence, the universe expressing its genius in the everyday. Sign 2. Emotional intensity. You feel more deeply. Joy can lift you into the clouds. Sorrow can pull you into depths you didn't know existed. Some might say you're too sensitive, but sensitivity is not weakness, it is resolution. A telescope that detects the faintest galaxies also picks up the faintest noise. The challenge is not to dull the instrument, but to learn how to interpret its data. So when your emotions overwhelm you, it may not be that you're broken. It may be that your soul has upgraded its sensors. Sign 3. You start asking the big questions. What is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Is there meaning beyond survival, beyond money, beyond the routines we've inherited? These questions can feel destabilizing in a culture that rewards productivity over reflection. But asking why is what made us human. Chimpanzees use tools. Dolphins communicate. Humans alone ask why the stars shine, why we exist, why anything exists at all. When these questions haunt you, it is not madness. It is humanity at full throttle. Sign 4. Flashes of clarity. Moments when everything suddenly makes sense. Neuroscientists call these the aha moments, when the brain's networks synchronize to create insight. Archimedes had his eureka in a bathtub. Einstein dreamed of riding on a beam of light. And perhaps you, sitting quietly, feel the same spark of illumination cutting through the fog. These are not delusions. They are breakthroughs, neural lightning strikes, revealing a wider horizon. Sign 5. Empathy expands. You cry at movies you once shrugged off. You feel strangers suffering as if it were your own. Some will say you're too soft. But empathy is not fragility. It is connection. In astrophysics, galaxies are bound together by filaments of dark matter, invisible threads holding the cosmos in structure. Empathy is humanity's dark matter. Without it, society disintegrates. When your heart expands, recognize it as the universe strengthening its bonds through you. Sign 6. A longing for peace and balance. Not the avoidance of life's challenges, but a craving for stillness in a noisy world. Meditation, quiet walks, even silence itself become precious. In physics, equilibrium is balance, not emptiness. The solar system dances in chaotic harmony, planets tugging on one another, yet holding steady in orbit. Your search for peace is not retreat. It is your inner cosmos seeking balance. Sign 7, ego loosens. The voice in your head that says I, me, mine starts to fade. You realize you are not the center of the universe, but part of something vastly larger. Every atom in your body has been through at least one star. You are literally made of stardust. When your ego shrinks and your cosmic self expands, that is not loss. It is an upgrade. Sign 8, intuition sharpens. You just know things, sense patterns, trust instincts. This is not superstition, it is the ancient intelligence of the brain processing far more than your conscious mind can track. Pilots, surgeons, scientists, they trust it. So should you. Sign 9, synchronicities multiply. Coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. Psychology explains them as pattern recognition. Physics offers metaphors of entanglement particles once linked acting in harmony even light years apart. Whatever the mechanism, the effect is the same. You feel guided, connected, part of a pattern larger than chance. Sign 10. You are drawn to nature. Forests, oceans, skies, no longer mere backdrops, but companions. This is not nostalgia, it is recalibration. For 99% of human history, we live close to the land. Your longing for nature is a return to your evolutionary home. Sign 11, hunger for knowledge. You read, listen, learn, and integrate. This hunger is not obsessive, it is cosmic. The universe itself evolves. Hydrogen becomes helium, helium becomes carbon, carbon becomes life, life becomes consciousness. Curiosity is the same impulse that turned stardust into you. So no, you are not crazy. You are awakening. And the greatest danger is not losing your mind, it is falling back asleep. Awakening is not just for you, it is for all of us. Every shift in perception, every emotional surge, every flash of insight is part of the same pattern written across the cosmos. Awakening means responsibility to live awake in a world that keeps falling asleep, to expand compassion in a civilization fracturing into isolation, to use your light not just for yourself, but to guide others. You are not breaking down, you are breaking open. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place, your place in the great unfolding cosmos. And when you embrace that, you awaken the universe, awakening to itself through you. Advancing technologically faster than ever before, yet inwardly, many of us feel more adrift, more anxious, more fragmented. We build quantum computers and self-driving cars, but we still struggle to understand the minds of our neighbors, the hearts of our families, and even the contours of our own consciousness. And here is the striking paradox. We can send machines to explore distant worlds, yet sometimes we are unable to explore the world within ourselves. But consider this. The universe does not shy away from complexity. Galaxies collide, stars explode, black holes warp space-time, and out of that chaos emerges structure, patterns, life. Perhaps our own inner turbulence is no different. The storms of anxiety, the flashes of doubt, the pangs of isolation, these may be the crucible from which a more aware, more connected, more evolved self emerges. Awakening, then, is not the absence of difficulty. It is the ability to navigate difficulty with curiosity, with resilience, and with wonder. And the signs you feel, the sharpening of perception, the intensification of emotion, the unrelenting questions, these are not flaws. They are indicators that your internal universe is expanding, recalibrating, and learning to see itself more fully. And let's not forget the cosmic perspective. Humanity tends to center itself in the story of the universe, but the universe has no need for our self-importance. Stars are born and die without notice. Galaxies spin and collide, indifferent to individual ambition. And yet, within this vast, impersonal cosmos, consciousness emerges life that can look up at the night sky, ponder the origin of matter, and feel awe at the sheer scale of existence. You are part of that phenomenon. Every atom in your body was forged in the core of a star. Every impulse of your mind, every flicker of creativity, every surge of empathy is the universe aware of itself, thinking about itself, marveling at itself. And when you awaken to that, You realize that the boundaries you once assumed between yourself and others, between yourself and the world, are permeable, even illusory. You are not isolated. You are woven into the very fabric of existence. This is why your empathy matters. When you connect with another human being, when you feel the pain of strangers, when you offer kindness in a world that often rewards indifference, you are participating in the same cosmic principle that allows galaxies to cluster, stars to orbit, planets to sustain life. Empathy is not sentimentality, it is physics. It is the universal law of connection asserting itself in your heart. And curiosity, oh curiosity, that hunger to know, to understand, to ask questions that might never have clear answers. It is the trait that has driven every discovery in human history. Without curiosity, we would never have decoded DNA, split the atom, mapped the heavens. Without curiosity, we would still be looking at the stars and wondering if they were just tiny pinpricks on a dark canvas. Curiosity is your personal telescope into reality. It doesn't just illuminate the world, it illuminates you. So, if you feel disoriented, if your mind races, if your heart feels too large for the life you've been living, take heart. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. You are not falling apart. You are falling into place, into your own evolution, and into the evolution of humanity itself. Each sign of awakening, every flash of insight, every pang of empathy, every longing for peace is a thread in the tapestry of your cosmic self. And the universe is patient. It does not demand that you understand everything at once. Galileo didn't understand all the motions of Jupiter when he first saw its moons. Newton didn't understand all the mechanics of gravity when the apple fell. And Einstein didn't understand the full implications of relativity when he first imagined riding a beam of light. Insight comes in moments, in flashes, in lifetimes, and so does awakening. So stand in awe of your own awakening. Nurture it, honor it, and allow it to guide you. Because when you awaken, it is not just you who awakens. It is the universe looking through you, seeing itself, understanding itself, and marveling at itself. Remember, the night sky is not just above you, it is within you. The stars are not just distant suns, they are the very atoms in your body. And the universe is not just out there, it is also in here, in your consciousness, in your curiosity, in your capacity for empathy, in your hunger for knowledge. You are not small. You are not insignificant. You are the cosmos awake, the universe becoming conscious of itself through you. And that, my friends, is the most extraordinary adventure of all. And yet, for all our technological advancement, we are still learning how to be human. We can measure the curvature of space-time, but we still struggle to measure the curvature of our own hearts. We can land rovers on Mars, yet some of us are still lost on the terrain of empathy. And this, paradoxically, is what makes us remarkable, because it's in the struggle to understand ourselves and each other that we participate in the same cosmic processes that govern stars and galaxies. Consider this: the universe does not rush. Stars take millions of years to form. Black holes take eons to bend light. And here we are, often impatient, thinking that we should have it all figured out by the time we're 30, 40, 50. But the universe is teaching us at its own pace. And the signs you feel, the restlessness, the questions, the sense that something deeper is calling, these are signals that you are paying attention to the lesson. You are aligning your life with the rhythm of something vast, something timeless. And here is the wonder. Each of us contains the echoes of the cosmos. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, these atoms were forged in stars long before the Earth existed. You are not just in the universe is in you. And the fact that consciousness has emerged at all capable of asking, why am I here, is not trivial. It is rare. It is extraordinary. This is why curiosity matters. Curiosity is the engine of progress. It is the spark that ignites discovery. Without curiosity, we would still be trapped in ignorance, staring at the night sky, wondering if those tiny points of light were fireflies trapped in the darkness. With curiosity, we launched telescopes, explored the planets, deciphered the genetic code, and probed the edges of the observable universe. Curiosity allows us to peer beyond the limits of our senses and sometimes to glimpse the very mechanics of reality itself. And yet, awakening is not simply about knowing more. It's about seeing differently. It's about understanding that your life, your mind, and your heart are part of a network far larger than yourself. That every act of kindness, every gesture of understanding, every effort to learn is a ripple that connects you to the cosmic whole. You are not isolated, you are interwoven, you are part of a pattern that spans the universe itself. So, when you feel anxious, when you feel lost, when you feel overwhelmed, remember, the universe is patient. Its laws are consistent, and its processes are ongoing. Stars explode, planets form, and consciousness emerges. And within that grand, indifferent, yet profoundly beautiful framework, you are alive. You are aware. You are capable of love, insight, and awe. And that, in itself, is miraculous. Stand in that awe. Let it guide you. Let it remind you that every challenge, every question, every moment of uncertainty is not a weakness. It is the universe inviting you to grow, to expand, to awaken further. And as you awaken, you participate in the same cosmic story that created galaxies, forged elements, and nurtured life. You are the universe reflecting upon itself. You are the cosmos, becoming conscious through your very being. So when you look at the night sky, remember, it is not just above you, it is within you. Every atom in your body has traveled through time and space to arrive at this moment. And in that, there is a truth more profound than any equation, more inspiring than any discovery. The universe is not separate from you. It is alive in you, thinking through you, marveling through you, awakening through you, and that is the greatest adventure of all. So as you step forward, remember this: the universe is not a distant backdrop to your life. It is your life. Every atom in your body, every spark of thought, every heartbeat, these are echoes of the cosmos. You are not separate from it. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. And in that awareness lies your greatest responsibility and your greatest opportunity to explore, to question, to seek understanding, and to embrace the vastness of what is possible. Because in the end, the stars are not just above us, they are within us. And in contemplating them, in striving to understand them, we discover something even more profound, that we too are capable of wonder. So go ahead, look up, dream big, and never forget that the universe is not a place you merely inhabit. It is a story in which you are an essential character,